Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for the Crosswalk Devotional Podcast. Over the years, our editorial team at crosswalk.com has written these devotionals, observing truths we see at the intersection of faith and life. We're thrilled to offer them to you now in podcast form. To get all of these episodes straight to your phone each week, just subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. To find more devotional content like this, just visit us at crosswalk.com.
Blessed are the Meek by Sarah Phillips, read by Leah Martin. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Matthew 5:5. I used to have a strong dislike for the word meek. It brings me back more than a decade to a defining moment during my sophomore year of high school. I was a shy teenager who had stepped outside of her comfort zone by enrolling in several theater classes, including a class on behind-the-scenes theater productions. This should have been the easiest of all courses for my sensitive nature, but my instructor, while delegating roles for the spring production of Peter Pan, proved me wrong when she voiced her choice of stage manager like this. I've chosen Melissa because I need someone with a strong personality, someone who isn't meek like Sarah. Of course, I only drove her point home when I didn't stick up for myself. I spent years after that scene developing assertiveness, determined to prove that Sarah was not meek. Like this teacher, I associated meekness with weakness, and both were traits that needed to be eradicated if I was going to get anywhere in life. At least that's what I thought, until I found that dreaded word jumping off the pages of Scripture at me in the Gospel of Matthew. There it was, one of the first things Jesus says in his famous Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Our deacon offered some thoughts on this verse that helped put things in perspective for me. He shared that it's in the Sermon on the Mount where we see Jesus begin to expand on his true purpose. And, to the disappointment of many, he was not going to be an earthly king bestowing power and prestige on his people. Not just yet. Instead, God's plan for mankind included an interior transformation of souls for the sake of an eternal kingdom. To properly prepare us for this kingdom, God rejected earthly methods of acquiring power in favor of the healing that comes with merciful love. It's God's mercy that changes our hearts from hearts of stone to hearts of flesh. It's Christ's humility, his lowliness, that beckons us into a relationship with him. And ultimately, it was Christ's willingness to give up earthly glory that opened the door for us to share in his eternal glory. Now, as much as I would like earthly power, he asks us to learn from him. As our souls find rest in God, he can continue his redemptive work through us as we display these same weaker virtues to the world. This isn't to say God lacks power or that Christians should throw out virtues like courage. I think sometimes cultivating traits like meekness and humility are trickier than learning boldness because we can easily tip the scales too far and become passive. It's a difficult balance, but a necessary one if we want to reflect Christ to a hurting world. Intersecting faith and life. Is there a situation in your life right now that would benefit from a little meekness, humility, or gentleness on your part? Ask God to show you how to have a meek and humble heart like his, one that offers healing and restoration while maintaining your God-given dignity. For further reading on this topic, check out Psalm 37:11, Ephesians 4:2, and James 4:10.
Hey listeners, thanks for joining us for the crosswalk.com devotional podcast. To get all of our episodes straight to your phone during the week, subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. To find more devotional content like this, head over to crosswalk.com.